We are back. So great to see you guys. Much news has occurred in our absence. You'd think there'd be no news, but there is news, including some that occurred last night at the Gotham Awards.
Yes.
Past Lives won Best Picture there, and then they do non-gender specific acting category. So they do lead and they do supporting, and they have a variety of different people in both. So Lily Gladstone won for lead, but not for Killers of the Flower Moon, but for The Unknown Country.
Right. Yes.
Which I've not seen. Have you seen that yet?
I have not. I have the Blu-ray came out this month, and I have a copy, and it's on my stack to look at before I start getting deep into our own awards voting that's coming up. But I'm hearing great things, and of course, you know, we're fans of hers going back to Kelly Reichardt's Certain Women. So yeah, a Lily Gladstone vehicle for sure. I want to see it.
Definitely have to check that out. And then the supporting winner was Charles Melton from May December, which we're going to talk about today. Yes. Later on, we're going to review it. It has been in theaters for a little bit. It's going to be on Netflix starting on Friday, December 1st. So he gives, well, I don't want to say what I think yet. We'll have to wait till the review. But a very
well, the Gothams liked it.
Unexpected performance.
Yes.
The Gothams liked it, yes. And so, but the other big thing that happened there was that Robert De Niro says that his speech was censored.
Yes.
He was giving some award to Killers of the Flower Moon, and as he's reading, so you know, it was planned. So his speech is in the prompter. This isn't like some last minute thing where he's surprised. He had a whole speech, and as he's reading it, he's like, "Wait, this is not what I wrote." You know, the whole top part is in it, and the top part was him being very critical of Trump and just the world in which we live, and how the movie Killers of the Flower Moon is still so relevant for so many reasons.
Florida
and
educators.
That all got taken out. Yeah, and that all got taken out. And we don't know whether I don't know whether the Gothams did it or Apple insisted upon it, but like he called them out. He was pissed.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, Gotham's blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's Apple or Paramount or whatever, but that like he wouldn't notice. Like he wrote the speech.
But then what he wrote wasn't in the prompter is the thing.
No,
Once the prompter started rolling.
I'm saying, did they think he wouldn't notice that it wasn't in the prompter? He'd written the speech, you know, so.
And I just wouldn't mess with Robert De Niro.
No, of course
I just wouldn't, because he's sort of like a no bullshit kind of guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to say what he wants to say.
At an open mic, forget about it.
So that's very, I'm interested to hear how that all shakes out. And then box office over the weekend, Wish was, you know, the big holiday, Thanksgiving holiday animated film from Disney, and it tanked. It only made $31.7 million over the 5-day.
Yeah.
It made $19.5 million in its first 3 days. That is not good. And they were expecting it would do 35 over the weekend and 50 million over the 5-day. It didn't come anywhere near that. Did you see Wish, Alonso?
I did, and it's kind of whatever. You can read my full review of the film verdict. Yeah, it didn't grab me, but you know, usually this is how, you know, Disney would own this time of year and would really know how to release stuff. And this is now the second year in a row where they've really kind of, you know, blown it, because Strange World, which I later caught up with on a plane and quite liked, opened around this time last year and did no business also. That one I think was even less promoted than Wish was. Wish they were really pushing. Like they were doing a lot of like fan events and like this Wish Wednesdays. I would get these emails about things, and you know, it was more out there in the world than they did with Strange World, and still it didn't draw in. And I think that they're trying to figure out how to get people back in the habit of seeing this stuff in the theater, because, you know, they threw Luca straight to Disney Plus, they threw Turning Red to Disney Plus, and I think they really kind of jeopardized the habits that families would get into to go see these movies. And they'll say, oh, well, it'll be streaming real soon, so I'm already paying for this, why should I bother? And, you know, they got to figure a way around that. Like I'm not paying attention that much to box numbers, but I assume like Trolls 3 opened much better than this, right?
I haven't seen the Trolls movie either. So much stuff came out around Thanksgiving that I have not seen that, but I don't know what I know. Napoleon did really well.
Sure. I just mean in terms of like this DreamWorks figuring out how to get people into theaters to see animated films more than Disney Pixar seem to be doing right now. Because even Elemental,
I think too, with Trolls though, people knew what Trolls was. Like Trolls is a known commodity versus Wish, which is an incredibly bland title and doesn't tell you anything.
Yeah, and it's kind of a bland concept too.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a very interesting movie. And the weird thing about it, especially, was that it's clearly crafted to be this kind of like Disney 100th anniversary victory lap. Like there are tons of references to other Disney movies sort of peppered throughout. The star, it's about a wishing star, which kind of links it to Pinocchio, obviously, and some other films. And even in the closing credits, you see like all these different Disney animated, protagonists done like they were constellations, like made of stars, basically. And they dig deep. Like they had the cows from Home on the Range in there. They were they no Meet the Robinsons, and of course no Song of the South. But like for the most part, there were even somewhere I was like, I don't even know what movie that is. Like, okay, I guess that's a thing. But so yeah, this was clearly, I think they were looking for this movie to be kind of emblematic of the studio, and it's kind of fizzling, unfortunately.
Well, if you are indeed going to watch Wish at home with your family, a cozy thing to do would be to have some Coffee Brothers holiday blend, cuddle up on the couch with a blanket and some of this cozy coffee. I am loving it. It's got hints of cooked cherry and wine and cocoa, and I'm giving it as gifts to like everyone I know. So basically, if you are a teacher or a coach in my kid's life, you're getting holiday blend from Coffee Brothers.
Lucky them.
We have a deal with them. Take 15% off of your coffee order with our code breakfast15. If you order at least $50 worth of coffee, your shipping is free. It's just a great stocking stuffer and a great gift this time of year, just to cozy up and enjoy.
Absolutely.
Yes. So we also talked about what happened with Scream 7 with Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. It was like a 1-2 thing there where Melissa Barrera was fired from Scream's let go. I'm sorry. There's got to be a more felicitous way to phrase this, right? Let go from Scream 7, which is all still in development. Nothing is set yet. Because of what? Did she tweet this? Where did she post this?
I want to say it was Twitter. And, obviously, the ongoing situation in Gaza is a very touchy subject, and people feel the need to not talk about it or to talk about it in a certain way, or like it's a very volatile subject, and a lot of people get very upset about different ways of how it's talked about. And she used some inopportune phrasing that tied into some anti-Semitic tropes. Unfortunately, her follow-up statement after being let go from Scream 7, I thought was much more eloquent and much more about like, I'm for peace, I'm for, people are not their governments. Like she really kind of laid it out in a way that was, I think, much less controversial. But that first thing that came out did not land well. And, I think it always goes to show how important it is for people in the public eye to have a second pair of eyes to look at social media statements before they go out, because sometimes you get yourself into trouble and you lose a job like Melissa Barrera did.
Right. And this is, somebody between this and In the Height, she has been on the rise and
Vita.
one of the crucial figures. Yeah, one of the crucial figures in this like revamping of the Scream franchise. So now Jenna Ortega pulled out. She says that she has a scheduling conflict with Wednesday.
Right.
And she is, of course, a massive star right now. And so, I mean, supposedly, it's just nothing was set in stone. And there's also the idea that like they weren't paying her as much money as she wanted. Like, who knows? Either way, this whole thing is in turmoil and the timing is all a little suspect. So we will follow all of that for you. Something you can count on, though, is Taylor Swift, because she, in honor of her birthday on December 13th, has announced that she is going to have the Eras Tour movie available for streaming.
Yes.
We can watch it from home.
We called that one. Everybody's like, no, it's just going to be a theatrical experience. Like, no, it's going to, of course they're going to stream it. And they're going to add 3 more songs. So even if you already paid to see it in a theater and you're a super fan, you're going to pay to see it again to get more of the stuff that they left out of the first version.
Of course, and like watch it at home and blast it and annoy your neighbors, So like nothing can beat the concert itself, right? Going to see it in a theater is probably a lot of fun with your girlfriends.
Sure.
But now you can watch it at home whenever you want and obsess over it. So that is December 13th. What's also coming out in February is the J-Lo movie. And this is her album/concept film, which she co-wrote with Ben Affleck. And it is keying off of the 20-year anniversary of the This Is Me Then album. This is now called This Is Me Now. There's some ellipses in there somewhere.
Of course.
Her movie is going straight to Prime Video. Like, what must she think? Taylor's got this giant, like, box office record smashing film. Beyonce this weekend has her Renaissance film, which she wrote and directed, and we'll review that on Saturday. And J-Lo's movie is going straight to streaming, but it was co-written by an Academy Award winner. So
there is that, yeah. And I'm sure. Here's the thing: like, I remember after seeing the Taylor movie and they'd announced the Beyonce movie, I was talking with a friend of mine who was like, you know, that like everybody now is like, ooh, when's my movie? And their people are having to be like, maybe you're not quite at the place at the moment with your audience that you want to have a movie. And I think J-Lo is probably very wisely figuring out, well, my demographic is maybe a little older than Taylor's, and so maybe I want to catch them at home. And that's where they're going to see it, and then that's where they're going to buy the album or, you know, stream it or whatever, however one listens to music these days. What do I know? I got a turntable back there. So, you know, I think this is very shrewd. This isn't like a, oh, poor J-Lo, they're just dumping her on streaming. I think she knows exactly what she's doing. No. And if she felt like she could have made the theatrical dent that Taylor has and Beyonce will, that she'd do it that way too. But I think she's very canny about who her audience is and where they're going to approach this material.
And it's not a concert film. It's like a series of like music videos. Like, it tells a story, right? Yeah. It's like a more of a narrative feature with her songs as the soundtrack. So I guess we have to review that too.
I guess we do.
My friend and co-host Jennifer Lopez. Very nicely done. Very good. I see what you did there. So that is February 16th. Also happening soon is an auction of Big Lebowski items. Oh. If you too want to lounge around your house in the dude's robe and t-shirt and make yourself a White Russian, now you can. A bunch of items that Jeff Bridges has signed, including like bowling pins and bowling balls that were used in all of those sequences. And those will help benefit No Kid Hungry, which is a charity that he works with very closely. So that is happening. Very sad news to end with here.
Yes.
Marty Krofft died.
Yes.
If you were a kid in the 70s, you watched H.R.Pufnstuf or Land of the Lost or Sigmund and the Sea Monsters or The Bugaloos.
Or Lidsville.
If you were hardcore, you watched Lidsville. Yes. But you know what? I also forgot and didn't realize is that he and his brother Sid also did that horrendous Brady Bunch Variety Hour.
Oh, yeah. Well, they also did Donnie and Marie, which was a big hit, you know, and that's actually where the Brady Bunch Hour spawned from. And also the Star Wars holiday special spawned from appearances on Donnie and Marie, but that's a whole other story, and the Crofts were not involved in that one. I met Marty Krofft once when I used to run the USA Film Festival in Dallas. When you're a kid film, we honored the brothers, and they both came in, and it was so... like, you could totally tell the division of labor the moment you met them, because Marty was Mr. Bottom Line contract, and we got paid for this, and we made the deal, and we we had a contract with da-da-da. And Sid was the, you know, the Bugaloos just wanted to live on their own and make their music and do their thing. Like, they were so like the dreamer and the accountant, like, and together they were an unstoppable force in 70s television. And yeah, they totally molded / warped our childhood. So the Krofft Super Show, you know, all that stuff.
There is nothing like that now. Like, no one takes these weird psychedelic risks like that on Saturday morning TV. I don't think. I mean, there's like some really interesting anime, but I don't think anything like like puppets and like people in giant suits. Like, it's not happening. It's so of its time. And I'm so glad that I grew up in a time where like H.R.Pufnstuf was part of my childhood.
Yeah. If you weren't there, you'll never get it, man.